Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Talking with Heroes talk show program. It's Talking with Heroes, HEROES.com. We also are working on getting our website ready to launch officially our nonprofit. Thank you for your service.us. Please check that out. And we're still here in San Antonio. For those of you who haven't watched other programs from San Antonio with the leadership here at the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Endeavors, there'll be a playlist set up on my YouTube page with all the programs that we're doing today. And we're here with a gentleman that some of you, if you've been watching for a while, may remember either listening to an audio program or a previous video program with his wife Barbara. It's Bob Zielinski. He's executive co-director of marriagemanagement.org. And sorry that Barbara's feeling not healthy today, but I hope she feels better quicker. And
she's looking over my shoulder.
She is right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I want to welcome you back to the program. I think it's great what you're doing. We've been talking with the clinic personnel that have been on the programs, and you're collaborating with them. But let's start out, because you're an Army veteran. Talk about your Army service.
Thank you, Bob. It's great to be back with you. And it's great to be back at the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Endeavors. Yes, I'm an Army veteran. I am not a combat veteran. I was in during the Vietnam era, had a desk job, and I was released early for medical reasons. I have an honorable medical discharge. And that leads me to why we do what we do, because they did train me pretty well, you know, to be a warrior, but then I watched all my friends go off to war and I had to sit behind. So that caused a lot of guilt and a lot of anger. And when I was finally released from the Army, my wife looked at me and said, "Who are you and what have you done with my husband?" Because in the short time I was in, I was thoroughly retrained. And I never learned to get rid of that anger, get rid of that guilt. And, you know, God bless Barbara for sticking with me. She finally got me on a program similar, another marriage program, and I began to see a different side of marriage.
Okay, and then so you both started marriagemanagement.org how long ago? And talk a little bit about like what is different about marriage management too.
Oh, thank you. It is a one-day or retreat marriage enrichment experience. It is not counseling. Barbara and I are very adamant about the fact that we want to deal with fellow veterans. And I know as a veteran, especially way back when, if you mentioned counseling, I would turn around and run the other way. I was strong, I could handle it myself, and I didn't need no counseling. But when this program came up, I said, no, wait a minute, these are folks that are veterans like myself, and they're sharing their stories, and I could relate to that. So we took programs that were already existing and turned them into a veteran-to-veteran, a peer-to-peer program, where you're experiencing not an instructor or a counselor or a Dr. Feelgood telling you how to run your marriage. What you're experiencing is another veteran and his or her husband or wife saying, we've been through this. This is how we got through it. These are some of the tools that we use to get through it. And we wanted you to try it too. But they tell their stories, you know. They don't do the death by PowerPoint thing, or we don't do the kumbaya thing. I'm dealing with fellow veterans who are strong, who are courageous, who can handle something if they have the right tools. So our focus is on introducing them to the kind of tools for their toolbox. Does that answer your question?
So what happens in a marriage management class?
Oh, what happens is usually a revelation of sorts. We have some of the unique things we have. Number one, we're not counseling. Number two, we have a philosophy of what we call boots on versus boots off. I know you interviewed someone earlier. It's Jeremy, I believe, and he talked about there were a lot of marriage issues. And it was namely, he named reintegration issues. And that seems to be the problem. We are trained to be warriors. We're trained to keep those boots on, to have that readiness. All the time, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready. And unfortunately, we're mission-based. You know, we have a mission, we want to follow that mission, so we keep those boots on, we keep that readiness in our head. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with one-way communication. I say it, you do it, and somebody's life's going to get saved. And that's ingrained of all of us. You know, that's how we feel all the time. So you bring that philosophy home and you say, wife, child, I say it, you do it, and it don't work. It just doesn't work. So we've developed a boots off technique, okay? Yes, you want to keep the boots on, you want to be ready, especially if you're still active military, you want to be ready. It's going to save people's lives. But when you go home, like Jeremy said, you got to flip the switch. You flip the switch to boots off and you use a different set of tools. Unfortunately, you don't get that training in the military with those particular relationship tools. So we make it a point in the class to, number one, tell our story, how we screwed up, you know, and I screwed up, the tools that we learned to help get through that, conflict resolution tools, communication tools, tools to help with intimacy, to help with trust issues, to help with reliance on our mates. That's another thing. We need to treat our spouse not like a fellow soldier or airman or Marine or sailor. We need to treat our spouse like our battle buddy. You know, we need to be that close. We need to train with them. We need to live with them. We need to face life with them, and they need to have our back and we need to have their back. And if we look at marriage from that perspective, then the military training can be very valuable. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, every time I have other people that talk about marriage management, they're telling me that you've had so many military couples that you probably have helped save their marriage, your tools, right? And you have a lot of bases, and now you're collaborating with other organizations like this clinic.
Yes, the collaboration is wonderful because what we have is like a one-day class. It's a one-shot deal. Here are the tools. You put them in your toolbox. You take them home. Okay, after a few weeks, when things go sour again, they put them up on the shelf. I ain't doing that stuff. You need a coach. You need someone to help you follow up. And that's why a collaboration with folks like the military family clinics, it's wonderful. We could do the program here. This is a safe environment. They know they're safe here. You know, the unit commander's not looking down their nose. And after the program, they realized, like, hey, there were some things that I didn't realize, and I think I need more coaching. Well, you're right here. You say, hey, you know, talk to these folks. They'll help you with the tools you just learned. Apply them to your life. So these collaborations are just wonderful. They really are. I wanted to give you a couple of quotes from some of the military and veterans that have been on the program.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have time for that?
Yeah, go ahead and make me a copy later, too.
Sure. We did a program right here in San Antonio on February 17th. We had 30 slots available. 120 veterans and military signed up for it. That's the need that exists right now for these kind of programs. And we called it marriage management for a reason, not marriage enrichment, not marriage kumbaya, not marriage any. It's management. You have to manage a marriage the same way you would manage a mission. So the folks came and we asked them at the end of the class, what were some of the challenges that you brought to the program? Well, there was 17 in this particular part of the class, 17 couples, and 15 of them mentioned communication. One of them said, just hearing the truth. Once I hear the truth, all of a sudden, I have other work I need to do. I realize that. Other people said, my spouse and I have trust and communication problems. We're together, but not really. We don't talk. I was wanting a divorce when I came. Getting and establishing a way to improve our marriage without fighting. completely trusting. Trust and communication are huge. So they go through this program, and like I said, they practice certain tools, physical tools, emotional tools, practical tools, communication tools, and we let them do it in private too. They don't have to, splash their feelings throughout the whole class. They do it one-on-one, privately. And we asked them afterwards, how did the program help you overcome these challenges? And one spouse said, it made me understand that some of my spouse's reactions and actions are determined by his military training. They never thought about that. Boots on versus boots off. Another one said, it allowed me to open my mind to the fact that I need to talk to my spouse about issues in our marriage and work on them, but from her point of view. He always looked at it from his point of view. This is huge to some of these folks. Another one said, this program gave us both a better understanding and putting ourselves in each other's shoes. To an instructor, that's like honey to our ears. Just for someone to be able to step into the other person's shoes and see it from their point of view, half their problems disappear because they understand rather than try to win. In the military, we're taught to win. But in a marriage, the goal is not so much to win, it's to understand that other person's point of view so that you can come to a compromise. Another thing I wanted to mention is we asked them, where would your relationship be if the program did not exist? And this really kills me because it says, maybe over, not as good, still struggling, still along the path of not knowing, divorce, broken, unfixable, it would probably end, more than likely non-existent, hopeless, confused, alone. This program helped tremendously. These are quotes from actual veterans and their spouses. What I have to say is not important, but what they have to say is incredible. We asked what they liked about the class, and almost 100% of them loved the instructors because they said they were real. They gave us real tools, real issues. They were real people. They were not fake. They were not up there to brainwash us. They were up there to share with us. And that's why we consider our program unique and different. The last thing we ask them is, how important is the program? And incredibly, almost 100% of them tell us it's important for a myriad of reasons, but the ones I like to hear is, it saved our marriage. Another one said, it's important because we don't always see things the way they are. We need to hear the truth. It takes a certain amount of courage to admit that, especially when you're with 30 or 40 of your buddies in the class. But that is huge, to see that, hey, I've been doing it wrong all these years. I'm the problem, not her. And be able to turn that around. So we love doing this program because the folks that come are the best in the world. They're the best trained. All we have to do is redirect that training to boots off rather than boots on.
I think it's great what you're doing, collaborating here too, and helping more military couples. But you also are collaborating with other organizations. One in particular, my daughter and her husband and two of my grandkids went on a 1-week camping trip with other military families.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Project Sanctuary.
Yes.
So you're now working with them too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love our collaborations, like I said before. And one of the nice things about Project Sanctuary, you can find them at projectsanctuary.us, I believe. They're 1-week retreats for families and or couples that have experienced post-traumatic stress. I never say post-traumatic stress disorder because most of us have it anyway in one form or another. Not a disorder. It's pretty normal. But yeah, you have to recognize it. And there's also traumatic brain injuries. There's wounds, both of the soul and of the body. And they spend a week with their families or with their spouse. And it's huge. And we love to be part of that because, again, we're giving them the opportunity to use tools, but now they have a whole week to practice them. And Project Sanctuary is unique because there are counselors right there. So if they struggle with something, especially trust issues, a lot of trust issues due to infidelity or just anger. We don't have all the fixes, but there's coaches right there that they can go to and help them get started. So these collaborations with Cohen Clinics, with Project Sanctuary, they're huge because the vet not only gets one aspect of enrichment, you know, they get a lot of different ones.
Well, I appreciate you sharing this. It's good to sit with you again and hang out with you a little bit today. Previously, it's only been doing interviews. You got to drive me here. I appreciate that. Yeah, drive me back in the heat. Okay, so before we close the program, you know what I like to do. If you can look at the camera and just give a shout out to our troops.
Troops, my fellow veterans, please remember something that I didn't remember for the longest time, but every marriage, every relationship has issues, has problems. The fact that we have problems doesn't make it a bad marriage. How we handle them makes the difference. And as fellow veterans, you know that training makes the difference. So keep training. And thank you all very much for doing the hard work that allows folks like Barbara and I and Bob to reach out and provide more services to you. It's you guys that give us the freedom. Thank you.
Thank you again for your service and continuing to serve for how long now?
We've been doing this for 40-some years.
Just had to get that in, right?
Right.
47 years.
I have something for you.
Uh-oh.
Give me that microphone back.
Uh-oh.
All right. Bob.
Taking my microphone from me, folks.
Taking your microphone from you. I want you to put your hand out and shake my hand. Thank you. This coin represents a thank you from us at Marriage Management, but from all of our veterans for the work that you do to help families and other service organizations.
I have so many coins from my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. Every once in a while, I get a coin like this from one of the nonprofits. I really appreciate it. It will definitely.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, folks, again, I have to find it. It just went down here. I want to also give a shout out to our troops. This is our final program here in San Antonio, Texas. To those of you who are serving around the world, be safe, stay alert. We want you to come back home safe with your families. And to everybody else, everybody that's watching this right now, please share this video with everybody that you know that could benefit from them, and the previous videos as well. I will have this on our YouTube page under Family Military Clinic private category, and it would be on all our social media. And your help would be greatly appreciated. Put your comments when you share it. So thank you very much, and for everybody, God bless you. God bless America.